Friday at Sundown, from the book Surely a Dome, written by Donald Paul Rice. A journey through one's choices in life. Sunday morning was an exercise in navigating through a mind's fog at dawn. Out of the front window, she could see a car parked on the pavement and the lawn. Headlights on and starting to dim. A shoe on the lawn where someone tripped on a limb. A wine bottle on the table, a glass filled to the brim. One sleeping on the sofa. Is it him? Asking oneself if it's him, one must first clarify which him did she really happen to mean. The one on the dance floor, the one at the bar, or the one playing the pinball machine. She won't know until he's up, and what will be said while drinking coffee from a cup. An act is done, and no chance to back up. And looking about, you're as mixed up as a pup. He starts to stir on the couch, just as naked as the day that his mother gave birth. Standing across the room, you are naked too. Just how much was last night worth? Wanting to run from the room rather than look him in the face and feel the gloom. Not too long ago, he was your best friend's groom, and now shame does loom. Both looking awkward, what can you say? Care for more wine? From lips so tight. The offer of more wine was accepted, but started to replay of the previous night. Night gone, and you think, what did I do? Then came the real shame, long overdue. Is anything you that is true? Would you ever have considered that this was in you? The two of you tried to make small talk, but it's a totally blatant, futile attempt. Two of you looking sheepishly at each other, both appearing quite unkempt. Both of you thinking but not knowing what to say best. I think we had better get dressed. Still the two of you thinking more or less how you might enjoy one more caress. Uneasily saying as he heads to the door, this is quite awkward, Don, am I right? Yet still you hear yourself say, would you like to see me again next Friday night? You had never been so bold, and this way it went, you never could have been told. For your heart, this fee had been sold, and your heart fluttering like a 16-year-old. You have lived a reckless night with reckless results, but you're not sure of any regret. The morning after had been a little uncomfortable, but neither of you seemed to fret. He held you and kissed you, and you didn't balk. Then he opened the door and started to walk. Outlining him, your mind like a sidewalk with chalk, wanting again soon to talk. Hours had passed, the clutter had been addressed, and all was in place as you sang. You must have been distracted because you didn't realize the doorbell had rang. The door opened facing your mate and his kiss bed. Behind him was your child hid. He said, I thought your chores might have slid while he was awake for the weekend with the kid. There was more truth in his words that he knew, and you hoped he'd never know. What you sought and carried out would have been such a terrible bending blow. Your contentment hit a skid, so you suggested he go camping with the kid. He left Friday with his kiss bids, and you accepted kiss with closed eyelids. On the couch in the now empty room, discontent spews from your very inside out, restlessly running your hand over your head, wondering what your life is all about. You were always attracted and of joys, usually popular with all the boys. He fills your life with expensive toys. All you had to do was work your many ploys. It was important for you to look pretty and happy while hanging on to his guiding arm. When among friends you had to be the woman with the most socializing charm. In public you knew your place. You were the owner of sophistication and social grace. At home, being a homemaker was your place, and getting little attention in any case. If he invites friends, you're the maitre d', chef, and server, and the vibrant life of the party. He wants to be more than his income allow. It's a good thing that you're so hardy. Your looks usually got what you needed. Now you wish suspicions had been heated. Now you feel somewhat cheated, and so very often you're openly ill-treated. Feeling mostly like a receptacle for his pent-up lust at certain times of his choosing. It's most revolting when he's been out with his friends and feels passion after boozing. How much more can you take? What happens when you reach the point of break? The child you can't forsake, but how much more happiness can you continue to fake? It makes you wonder if he ever loved you or just needed an attractive social showpiece. He lets you spend beyond your means, but financial criticism doesn't seem to cease. You starve yourself for days at a time. To gain your 1 pound to him would be a crime. Playful kid can't be covered in grime. A neat family is his personal mission's prime. Most everything seems to be meant for his satisfaction, and little aimed at your content. Looking at your life you're leading now is truly labeled anything but heaven sent. You feel that you have seeds to be sown. You have nothing that you alone have grown. While getting his attention, it seems to be on loan, or a few bits your way being thrown. Thinking that maybe he never really loved you, but needed you as his personal cure. Even if he didn't love you, can't he see that your dedication is and has been clearly pure? You see the sun has gone down and here you sit. Much more in your wrist you'll slit. You decide to go out and explore a little bit, hoping to find a place where you'll truly fit. In the city's nightlife area, you do notice a lot of different types of people that are there. If riding with your mate, the focus is always a him, even down to him combing his hair. Seeing other women with no apparent strife, and actually having a say in their daily life. His words will cut like a knife. You do or say anything not approved by him as his wife. Driving slow with the windows down, the breeze feels so comforting on your face. The only thing that is missing is to be with an admirer, with you dressed in lace. Seems you still have the looks as you drive by, having caught so many men's eye. Not wanting them to think that you're shy, you give them a little smile and look real sly. It comes back to you now. You remember with men you could always take your pick. You knew how to handle them, even the ones that thought they were a little slick. Most of them couldn't pay their way. At night they're fine, but what about the day? The one you picked was selfish all day, and at night in bed everything was his way. Wondering how much more of this your sanity can take, so tonight you say no more. Tonight you want to make memories, holding them secretly to store. Tonight you're going to make a splash and leaving this night as a burnt cinder ash. You know that you don't need cash, but to be what you want, you have to be trash. Your car parked and you walk into the bar. Many men move aside with mouths so gape, like a black, brown, white, yellow, or red, stunned, bewildered, head-scratching ape. Showing them a little smile, and you stop in your tracks to let the eyes feast a while. Walking toward the bar, you weaker style, all the time casting a feminine guile. At the bar, men offer you their seat, but never choosing to get too far from you. To get too far from you would mean losing you from their mesmerized, drooling view. Smiling back at the man that gives you a wink, and then the man offers you a drink. Offers come from many without a blink, and soon wondering if you're on a drunken brink. Alcohol relieves anxiety, so no more dancing. So now dancing seems to be more of the thing for you to do. Leaving your bar stool, you bump into a handsome man and he wants to dance with you. The wild dancing gets quite risque, but your alcohol consumed says everything is okay. Slow dancing. To the bar, on the dance floor, playing pinball. Truly having the time of your life tonight. No one to examine your actions or words. No one said to you what's wrong or right. The attention pours over you. The times that you have felt like this recently are very few. Things were wrong, but this you knew, and everything old in this life is now new. The night reminds you of the days before you made up your mind to pick a mate. Now you just wanted to get a few more moments of excitement before it got too late. Drinks coming until you can stand no more, and dancing with the moves of a whore. Smiles and rear patting were galore, and even kissing some guy by the back door. The good-looking guy at the bar suggested you sit down and give it a little rest. He suggested that you had given the crowd so much, now it's time to give them less. He said to sit next to him, let your head clear, and you'll probably be okay because he is near. He's a stranger and you had no fear. You liked the feeling of him whispering in your ear. Looking into his eyes as he sipped his beer, and your interest grew in this confident man. His words were flattering and smiles soft. Then you realized he was holding your hand. The moment was right, not just so slow. You held his hand tight, not wanting him to let go. His hand was on your knee, but you let it be so, and not wanting any resistance to show. His intentions were now clear, and you didn't mind at all the advances coming from him. As far as you were concerned, he was a gardener, and you were a bush needing a trim. His warm words melt into your smile, allowing his wandering hands to linger a while. You knew his actions were putting you on trial to see if your passion he should soon file. The conversation became more intimate. Both of you revealed a few secret fantasies. At one point, both of you share your personal and preferred intimate activities. Now on the road and you know where it's going, and your anticipation is now showing. The mood share is clearly flowing, and your need for his touch is clearly growing. Words need not be used to express where this encounter will end up this eventful night. You threw caution to the wind, and now you really don't mind what's wrong or right. When he expressed a care for a need, in you he planted a very passionate seed. So in return on him you'll feed, and at this moment there is nothing or reason to stop or heed. Wobbly as you start to stand, he takes your arm gently and leads you toward the door. While in the parking lot, he tells you that he lives in the next complex on the second floor. Tonight was okay in coming to this bar, for tonight was your night to be the shining star. He told you that it wasn't too far, and you could follow him to his place in your own car. Colors on the numbers on the clock tells you that you are not home in your own bed. Pounding inside your skull tells you that you need to sit up and grab hold to your head. Last night you slept with a good-looking man. A night of your liking, give him a hand. A night so gentle, thanks to each secreting gland, and his performance was so grand. As you reach for him, you feel him reaching for you. So now it's again around the block. The morning session gave you a smile of pleasure and thinking he's from good stock. His confidence remained the same. You wondered if you had bothered to ask his name. Thinking what's done is done and who's to blame. After all, you're just happy you came. The two of you sit on the side of the bed and you ask if he has anything cold in here. He replied he didn't have anything hard, but he did have some ice cold beer. Not really sure if you should, but the thought of a real cold beer did sound really good. Reliving this again, you know you could. If given the chance, you know you surely would. Through the morning and most of the afternoon, the two of you wildly continue to play. First is his turn, then it's yours, because each of you had your very own pleasurable way. You ask yourself if this is real, because this is the best that you could ever feel. You look in his eyes and give a kiss of approval seal for making your world truly real. The two of you run out of words, so he says, let's go back to the bar, asking if it's okay. We can celebrate last night, you replied, of what truly started for us only yesterday. The ice cold beer put you in a warm mood, but back at the bar instead of getting food. It's okay since he has seen you nude. There's no reason for you to seem rude. Feeling a little uneasy going back to the bar, wearing the same clothes you did before. Many dressed the same as last night, you observed as you walked through the door. The greetings you received were plenty. The drinks offered, again, were plenty. Holding on to your last 20, having this time of your life without spending a penny. It was almost like picking up where you left off as the star of this, your own new crowd. All the attention made you feel more important than the other women and very proud. The one that gets your attention tonight, you hope to be with you at next morning's light. The one you dance with now feels right. It's your girlfriend's husband holding you tight. You tell him that you like his company and you are alone for the rest of the weekend. He tells you that he doesn't want to go home because he won't find a friend. You both have a need, and you both have developed some kind of passionate greed. Something inside you has been freed. Now with the new appetite, you must feed. Saturday night is now Sunday morn. You're wondering with whom you spent the night. Much of the previous evening is now seems blurred, but you don't even care if it was right. Knowing the two previous nights were wrong, but you still want to break out in song. Feeling so alive, you want to bang a gong to proclaim the new life is where you belong. Friday at sundown to Sunday at sundown is the secret that you really hope to keep. Your mate and the kid home, but while they were gone, did something into your life creep. You manage the family as you always do. Thoughts of the weekend not in mind are few. Family tasks perform like a robot on cue. Respect for your mate is becoming overdue. You transport the kid to the activities with the thoughts of the weekend in your head. Spending each evening with your mate now fills your mind with a resentful type dread. The one that calls the shots treats you as though you were just a lust-catching pot. Never acknowledges that you ever look hot, but come this Friday, you'll be ready to cop. Thinking that you start a getaway plan for Friday at sundown to go to the bar. Though your mate may not think you're attractive, in this new crowd, you're a true star. You tell him that you'll visit your mom Friday and maybe taking a movie along the way. Maybe a musical, you say, because you know your mom likes a lively musical play. It's a good idea, he said to you. I'll take the kid to visit with my parents for a while. Great, you thought to yourself, that way I can step out and into my newly found lifestyle. Don't give your mate any reason to mistrust you, so be careful and he won't have a clue. It's a deceitful deed that you brew, but you ignore the sleazy bad scene in this review. Surprised at how easily it came about in your getaway plan that's coming soon. The best that you can figure is that he and the kid should be on their way by Friday at noon. The week goes and is now the past. Friday is Sundown. Memories will be made at last. You wonder if the bar will have the same cast. Either way, it should be a real blast. Desiring so much to return to the place, it leaves you as a sheep needing shorn. The one good thing that you can be said about today is that it is now Friday morn. It's now a little after noon. Your mate and the kid should be leaving pretty darn soon. It's Friday evening and you sing a tune. The sun going down, you head for the saloon. Stepping inside the bar, you take a look around at the crowd, men and women. More women than last week and looking as good as you. You wonder if it's an omen. The men are friendly as always to you. The drinks that are offered are more than a few. The women seem like a friendly crew. No need to think that this night you'll rue. For some reason, and who knows why, this female crew was not there last Friday. According to overheard conversations in this bar, they are literally a nightly mainstay. As wild on the floor as you, drinks flowing to them are also more than a few. An invitation sent to you like the wind blew, so you joined and danced with the female crew. Offers to dance with you came from men on the left and also men on your right. The show that you and the female crew put on was really a wild partying sight. You and the crew spent time in the bar, and at the pinball machine all of you did star. Words at home were a daily spar, but the girls of the crew took you just as you are. The crew watched you dance with the men, and then offers a cute challenge to you. The girls of the crew beckoned to you from the dance floor with moves they began on cue. You matched them step for step. No sensual move in your arsenal was attempted kept. Great interest all across the barroom swept, and into the hearts of the crew you leapt. Quite winded, the three of you left the dance floor, and they invited you to their booth. Conversations shared between you and the crew were very blunt and filled with truth. Words shared on how to stimulate a man and how to get them to become a giving fan. In pleasing a man, there is nothing to ban, even when it's in the back of your or his van. Some men in the bar pull up a chair at the end of the booth, enjoying in the noisy fun. All is fun and conversation, and often someone has to make a quick bathroom run. Various interested eyes across the tables meet. Games under the table played with feet. A hand on your knee you think is neat, and now a hand on your other knee you now greet. You believe this to be wild, and it gets wet better all the while, causing passions to be warmed. All the interest in touching makes you feel a pattern of this fun night now being formed. Many around you, but few in reach. If it comes down to who will learn and who will teach. Girl and boy, you get interest from each. To experience both would be a real peach. Alcohol lowered anxiety, taking you to a place few married women would even go. What would be the results of tonight's encounter in the future leave you to bear or tow? Remember that you came to have fun, and you're not the type to tease and run. Those that know you would experience stun, but you're not quitting until it's all done. You, another girl, and a man decided to go and listen to music at her apartment. Thinking ahead, you reached and took a condom from your car's glove compartment. Intimate words and gestures grow. All involved parties, true intentions now show. So much is taking place with the lights so low. So much pleasure, you let passions flow. Looking at your watch, a critical thought enters your mind, and left us suppose. Suppose your mate is home. You hurry past the others still on the floor in repose. You hurry home as if on a mission, not aware that you present a truly sinful condition. Your hair and neatness that's not in your tradition. Your mate's view would be suspicion. You park your car and nearly sprint inside, and hoping that you'll be the only one there. Trotting to the bedroom, you pass a mirror, and what you see gives you a scare. There are stains on your dress and the appearance of tangled hair that is a mess. The person you see causes you stress. And what can you do to make this bad a best? Putting your clothes at the bottom of the hamper, that's one place your mate won't go. You jump in the shower, wash your hair, not wanting any of this evening to show. Blow dry your hair and put on a gown. What he sees in his home won't cause a frown. A bad breath from a night on the town, you clean your mouth and teeth, then lay down. Hearing the front door open, you desperately try to feign an extremely sound sleep, hoping that when he enters the room, a good safe distance you hope that he will keep. He enters the room and puts on the light, so you turn and fake focusing on his sight. You don't want to be a less catching pot tonight, but refusing means his angered fight. The kid and my mom gave me a run for my money you would not have believed. With those words, he went to sleep at last, and now your anxiety is truly relieved. How much more could you fake? After tonight, how much more could you even take? Happy he went to sleep for your sake. After tonight, your passion needs a little break. You start out this morning not wanting last night's residual to show in the very least. The advances from your mate this morning show signs that it will unsatisfied cease. You gave a performance second to none and deserve an Oscar when he was done. He is now content for he's had his fun. It'd be fireworks if his advances you did shun. You take the kid today and he can go to the course to golf and enjoy the day. Telling him you're not sure what plan you'll do, but this is you having things your way. So you take the kid to your mom by sundown, then go to the bar wearing an imaginary crown. Tell your mom you're feeling up and down, and keep the kid before you drown. As he leaves, you say that you may stay at your mom's house late or even overnight, reminding him that days of late your mom's hasn't been feeling exactly right. You gather the kid for an overnight stay. This is how again you get your needed way. Your mom takes the kid so happy and gay, not knowing this is how you get to play. Over the weeks and months, the deceit and lies lead to a family being neglected. Your dedication to the lifestyle of the female crew leads to you being connected. Wayward sex and drugs tell where you've been. Demeanor tells what shape you're in. Always busy and rarely grin. And your mate notices that you've been getting too thin. Your mother won't babysit anymore because you have used every excuse known. It's come down to being with your friends daily or just leaving the kid alone. You chance it daily because you can't stop. Next, drinking and driving may involve a cop. Looking in the mirror, your hair looks like a mop. And for clothes, when did you last shop? You're starting to notice the things at home and in you that you have chosen to neglect. You're sorry for the neglect in the home life and in you, but you feel that you can resurrect. For now, you'll just be on your way. Sure, it can be resurrected, but it won't be today. Who am I hurting and who is to say? For now, I have things that I need to get underway. You're an active member of the crew now, and they say that they need more money. They tell you that it takes money to continue this lifestyle, so just get with it, honey. The crew has happiness you want to bring next time you decide to pawn something. Your mate won't miss such a little thing. After all, it's only a small diamond ring. thinking that the other girls in the crew come up with money more often. Why can't you? They let you in on a little secret and say that you don't do what they choose to do. Sleeping with someone for fun, we like to do. Sleeping with one for money is fun too. Man or woman, it's up to you. If you show them a great time, they'll pay what you do. Taking more from home is a risky at best. So their idea you choose to consider. It's really nothing more than you already do, except you'll go with the cash-paying critter. The time has come and alcohol is not enough. Take a pill and it's easier to tolerate guff. You can do it because you have the right stuff. Just smile a lot and show them a lot of fluff. In the booth at the bar, you and the crew laugh at the ease that one can make money. You speak up and say, that's how we maintain a lifestyle and happiness, honey. This time you did quite well. Next time you'll need more sedation. This you can tell. Pills and drinks make your confidence swell. But how much longer can you go to that well? The well is deep and the walls are thin. How much longer will it be before you fall in? Deep in lies and deceit, but obligations are the same as they've always been. Temptation offered and you took the bait, getting more questions from your mate. Did temptation show you the path to fate? Do you want to be the homemaker or the late? Meals thrown together and less than appetizing. Concerned for the kid he doesn't feel. Last night your mate's concern did appear by asking you lately, just what's the deal? He claims the yard is not very well kept, and lately the floors aren't regularly swept. Looking awfully thin in your garb inept, and looking like you haven't recently slept. Today something strange happened that you never thought was in you or even part of you. You explode with no attempt to control your anger and say, so what's new? Maybe I'm new. In his face was total shock. He stepped back as if to gather and grip his mental stock. He simply calls your words a crock, but you felt like you had cleaned his smug clock. His eyes darting and mouth moving, searching for words, but none really are expressed. So caught off balance that in his own mind he felt as though he was just merely a guest. The stuttering and stammering one couldn't believe. It never did cause you to grieve. Now some of his dominance you may be able to relieve, and none he'll ever retrieve. You turn in feigned indignation and tolerance and leave solidly slamming the door. Then you realize this may give you more freedom, even much more than you had before. You vow to show him that you won't follow his rules and leave all the rules to all fools. You like your new self and you have the tools. You think that you can handle fish in all pools. Coming and going as you please is really new for you, and you like it being this way. Your mate can no longer depend on you, so for the kid's sake his mother's come to stay. No one knew where you choose to roam. Some nights you didn't bother to come home. The child is like a lost gnome. When it's out, do you know if it's used a comb? Your mate has reached his limit. There's no farther hope that normalcy shall ever return. Check in the mail one day while home. A divorce he wants is what you happen to learn. You wonder why you didn't see this brewing. It makes you wonder what you were doing. Your plan to invest with him a little cooing and put an end to his divorce-minded stewing. Looking in the mirror, you think, how could he ever find a trophy as gorgeous as you? When you engage your feminine wiles, his silly thoughts of divorce will truly be through. He'll love the special meal you prepared tonight and love you as his beautiful sight. You know how to make things right, and he'll give up any silly thoughts of a divorce fight. Your mate is surprised, but announces that he's made other plans for tonight's dinner. The coldness you see in his eyes says that he no longer considers you his winner. Time has moved on, and he's taken an alternate route. He feels it's time you move out. A mind is staggered, and your mouth moving like a trout, wondering what came about. He never was the love of your life. You just thought he could feed your financial need, doubting that he ever loved you, but you were the trophy he needed for his ego to feed. A marriage born not of love, but one born with ulterior motives and a bilateral shove. A marriage with maybe a love kind of, therefore one not able to fit heaven's glove. Other men you pushed away because they couldn't supply the excesses of this world. Your mate wanted a trophy at his side, so the needs of his selfish image could unfurl. Families children are born into, a child has no say. It really wasn't even their hand to play. It was born into a family of disarray. A burden in this early life had come its way. He wasn't really what you desired to fill the needs of your sensual, passion-strong life. The real you he never wanted. He wanted a sexual relief without any true passion rife. The truth of this marriage has come back to haunt for the distance and not a jaunt. Both getting results neither of you want, and both now living with temptation's taunt. Temptation did get the best of you too, and left you both laid quite low. There was no true love in the beginning of this marriage, and none at the end to show. There's nothing left in either of you to soften the blow, and no love in the garden to grow. Failure is easy to know. Two can live without wealth, but to make bread you need dough. You wonder if this is how it's meant to end for you two selfish and loveless endeavor. Now no longer able to tolerate each other, selfish fantasies now turn to dislike forever. It seems the kid has lost the most. Fake happiness innocently born into is now toast. There never was true happiness to boast. The facade of the past happiness is now a ghost. Your former mate and his mother will now lovingly take full responsibility for the kid. Now you can turn to the crew and go on with the joys of taking a paying critter's bid. There's no fun in the way that you now live. To return to what you had, what would you give? A security you once had is now a sieve, and falsehoods of the marriage you did outlive. Natural beauty of youth has moved out, and the maturity of your looks has moved in. All of you in the female crew are starting to show the inevitable price of wages of sin. Alcohol and pills have taken the toll on your skin. Illicit activities have left you all too thin. Wrinkles are magnified when you grin. These are the tolls when temptation moves in. The lifestyle that you now live is quite a permanent way without any outside interdiction. Sadly, you've never given any thought to moving your lifestyle to a different jurisdiction. Temptation moved in and took what was yours and left you lying on its foreign shores. You joined temptation behind closed doors, and now sadness exudes from all your pores. Drugs and escort hobbies of the female crew drew attention and landed you in jail. The others have carrying families, but you have no idea who'll come to pay your bail. It turned out to be your mother, and truthfully, you couldn't think of another. No one else since you have no brother, and your former mate would let you smother. Your mom drops you off in front of your place, and even in the summer, it looks so cold. So much of life used to look warm, but that was before temptation came and took hold. When sober, you feel great shame, but under the influence, there are others to blame. The home you left could come from a picture frame, but this one is for a crew dame. Home, nevertheless, is where one lays their head each night, alone or with a friend. Alone with your thoughts, you can now examine just where in life you have been. You went in search of freedom and fun, and you found both, but always on the run. Never able to take the time to enjoy what you've done, and no time to relish the sun. Before joining the crew, the kid, and in most ways your mate, were your focus in life. Were your focus. Your dedication to the crew had come and stripped the focus like a crop full of locusts. Living with a soul filled with pain, there's no way that you can continue to be sane. It hurts too much going down memory lane. To get out of this hole, you need a crane. You take a drink and a pill to ease the pain in your soul and to help you go to sleep. There will be 7 more drinks and pills before this night is done making you weep. Effects of drugs bring oblivion that is nice. You do it nightly and never think twice. The girls of the crew are getting cold as ice, and all of you are just frightened little mice. You see that all of you are trying to relive those years when you were all pretty darn hot. The years and the pace of your lifestyles will certainly take all that all of you have got. The body sagging in parts that you don't want to see, flab and dimples above the knee. Thinking of what you used to be, and from who you are now, you would just like to flee. Drink and more pills take you to a different place where your judgment is very blurred. The anxiety is less, but the cause is still there, and now there's a new voice to be heard. It's saying, who do you love and who loves you? My guess there are none too few. You are abandoned by the girls of the crew, so I think your time with them is through. The voice speaks again and says, everything is gone, and there's little left of you. You are estranged from a family, and now estranged from a fair weather crew. The means to do it is in your hand, and how much more of this can you really stand? Your end has long been planned. Do it and sprinkle your dust across an uncaring land. Opening your eyes that morning was like trying to see through a thick London fog. Unable to move your arms and legs, you were a spread eagle like a dissected frog. Wondering what was going on here, you can see people, but no one that's near. One in scrub sees your eyes moving so queer. Looking closer, he sees it's your fear. Looking down, he asks if you can hear. Looking up, you ask him, why are you here? You ask why your throat is sore, and when you swallow, the pain is so severe. He said the doctor will be here in a few, and he'll come to visit your bedside to speak to you. Looking around, you get a better view. You conclude that somehow you ended up in ICU. At the bedside, the doctor asked if you could remember why or what made you wish to die. You said, I do kind of, you replied. Then a tear began a trail from the corner of your eye. You told him how your life had gone from a bright morn to a sad and dark porn. You said how from your family you had been torn to a life you can no longer adorn. Weeks in rehab and months in therapy is where you applied yourself and finally won. It's funny how clear choices appear without the aid of alcohol and a life on the run. From your family, you're still estranged, but visits with the kids has now been arranged. So much in life has changed. To your family, you no longer appear deranged. With the aid of local charities and missions, you managed to get back on your feet. So with interdiction and change of drugs jurisdiction, sinful ways you won't repeat. The Holy Rosary you learned to pray. Now that's the way you start your day. Life wasn't having all your way, and now praying for others, recovery is okay. Life seems so much brighter now, but you would like to have your family's respect. Sometimes you may not get what you want, but still get much more than you expect. Pray for what you need, and all other indulgences considered approach with heed. Our Lady's prayers on behalf intercede. No faith is believing the Apostles' Creed. What you once saw as beauty no longer exists. Now you can see the beauty within you. The peace that now surrounds you reveals the true ugliness of the female crew. You're aware that the peace inside does abide, and also temptation will try to collide. If temptation does come, you'll step aside, knowing the Holy Family is at your side. You've overcome obstacles like pain, unrest, and so much worldly sinful strife. It's so hard for you to recognize where you were and now, and where you were in that life. Thank heaven for what you have been given, and now prayer is how your life is driven. When baptized, all sins are forgiven. For the first time in your life, nothing is hidden. It's sad that you don't have the old relationship with your family, but you're happy to live. Tried to take your life, so now you know it's wrong to take something you can't give. Life is precious, the one given to you, and second chances are given to very few. Temptation was all you knew. Now accountability and understanding has come through. The loneliness that's in your life now may soon be reversed with a second chance. You have turned the corner and made the choice. With prayer, your life did enhance. You met another with the stories similar to yours. You two told stories and kept scores, telling how you both ended up on evil foreign shores. After that, no need to say more. You both enjoyed many of the same outside activities, and mostly the same music too. The most you enjoyed about being with him was that he respected your points of view. Both passionate needs were shared, and it was clear from the very start that he cared. In his love for you, nothing was spared, and hopefully a life with him, you are prepared. When you introduced him to your mother, she seemed cautious but pleasantly pleased. Introducing him to the kid, you held your breath. With its smiles, anxiety was eased. Your former mate said that you should visit now and then, and you wildly replied, "When?" Did loneliness and sadness just come to an end by thinking your former mate a friend? Loneliness and sadness you earned on your own. At work on the ship, the crew did sail. You are so happy now that the Father allowed that suicide attempt to thankfully fail. Maybe there's more in life for you to do. Like others in this despair, a new point of view. Tell them of your life with the crew and tell them how you had wished your time was due. Say it happened to you, it happened to them, and many more out there it's happened too. They come in different circumstances and habits, but at all costs avoid their crew. Many in a sinking boat, but only one vest. The truest test and courage comes out best. Words and deeds are our true test. So when building a home, heeds what's put in the nest. Your faith has given you a great deal to be thankful for since the near fatal attempt. Now for some of your former life and ways you hold the most possible contempt. Material items aren't important anymore. No intentions of finding temptation's shores. Prayer in your life is more than before, and pleasing a mate is no longer a chore. The journey was long and almost ended too soon. Then heaven showed the way. Every morning you wake up and are breathing above ground is a very good day. Leaving the world on these terms shall be good, because you have done all you could. You left where you once stood and went to where you should, for then you understood. In this world, we can choose to be an instrument of good or of temptation. It's up to us. We can live accordingly to the will of God or succumb to temptation's greed or lust. Temptation's influence from a so-called friend and has pressures that know no end. The world won't break us, but at times we bend. So follow good and good will send. A mate that you truly love and share mutual goals builds a family with a good name. Being materialistic in life and have goals leading to vanity will build a family of shame. In your heart, a mate can be gold, and always welcome the times that you two can hold. Getting what you want by principle sold, and for your vanity, your touch will be cold. Without love and respect, it's easy for temptation to step in and cause noted corruption. Feigning love and respect by those involved becomes a daily major production. Without love, one can easily lie. Without love, one can easily turn and say goodbye. Without love, resolving differences, one won't try and walk away and never cry. Living with love, all involved are pointed in the same direction each and every day. Conversations are based on truth and kindness and nothing harsh to display. Words can be stern but wish for the best, meant to build more love and not less. True warmth is found in each caress. Willing to die for another is the true test. Temptation will always be waiting to influence anything recognized as something good. Temptation is constantly attempting to sway those who are simply living as they should. Ways of temptation are never right, attempting influence in the day and dreams at night. It wants to draw you into a way and leave you in plight. Good is the defense in this fight. Prayers of the Rosary will show you just where you belong and how you should live. It'll teach you how to accept the love of God and to all others exactly how to give. Let the choices I make in life be fine, because it will be the will of God and not mine. Most days for us, the sun will shine by recognizing the great goodness of goodness's design. Be wary of those selling potions and spells. They're advertising direct roads to hell. If sold in darkness and not praising good, that's how most of us will be able to tell. Goodness knows our needs before we do. According to goodness, will make us new. Temptation knows that its time is due. Pray that we won't take many, just a few. Some accept the promises of temptation and choose the rules of the world knowingly. What they are now and what they will be, hence the difference will be all over glowingly. How one chooses to live determines just how much goodness is willing to give. Goodness rewards faith that is massive, but judges accordingly faith that is passive. Two that share assorted paths, and together prepare to face obstacles that are vast. Obstacles of police record and convictions, and living with very recent interdictions. Family and public aware of adventurous ways, so glaring in those wilder, crude days. Your looks are mature, but still hold charm, and a life-battered man taking your arm. You both share a past that is full of sin and rage. He came out looking twice his age. With facial makeup and exercise and diet, although older, admiring men still won't be quiet. The admiration of others allows you to feel bolder, while your mate just looks older. Energy created by attention from others, while your mate only attracted rehab brothers. You wanted him to grow with you, but his personal rehab world was all that he knew. Your rehab was fine, but not where you could live, for your rehab still needs you did outlive. Is rehab something that no one can no longer need, or is it for a lifetime we need heed? Getting a decent job allows you to smile. Your mate seems to be cramping your style. You're moving back into normal society with speed, but he slows you down due to his need, needing you to be his strength. And you do want to go with him, but to what length? So far as to slow you down and cause you to stop, like a farmer giving up on his crop. Your progress is there to be made, but in digging out, he's a cold shovel, not a spade. As your aspirations become much clearer, you'll keep him in your rear view mirror. Whenever he has trouble keeping up, you can lend him a hand as your goals erupt. He was there for you when you were low, and you'll need him and you'll help him indeed, not just show. His attractiveness is no longer there, but with him you intend to be truly square. Lessons in life taught you quite well. You prayed to heaven while going through hell. Surviving the pit of sin helps you get to where you're going, but by where you've been. To your mate, you want to stay true because he's been through the same thing too. Together, you left the grips of addiction, along with its unfriendly social depiction. Now is not the time to lighten your load while on the start of your comeback road. Bad times you both to share. Now hopefully there will be good times to spare. Your job is showing promise and more pay. Now maybe you can save for a rainy day. What will that rainy day be? Unfortunately, or maybe not, the future is not for us to see. You make friends quickly on the job, male and female. Both you tend to quickly hobnob. Drinks after work is in their span. Fearing the past is not in your evening span. Laugh and be funny like the others want to do. Reminiscent of your days with the crew. Feeling an increasing comfort zone with coworkers without mates there, each all alone. The hours pass and it's time to go. Everyone had a good time, but you walk kind of slow. All say goodnight and head for cars. Your home life is dim as you look at the stars. Going home is no great pleasure. Your mate will be waiting for his living treasure. You'd like him to change, but you take him like he is. A carbonated drink minus the fizz. Intimate moments are okay at best. He does what he does, and you finish the rest. A night out with him is a night with rehab friends. It makes you wonder where it all ends. Conversations from where you two had come, so predictable it makes you numb. Now seeing him from a different point of view, and wonder if his growth is all but through. You needed him then, but do you need him now? Before he brought a help, now a scowl. What can you do with one that loves you so? With him, there's no place to really go. He's satisfied just the way things are. With you in his life, he's riding his wished-for star. In you, the restlessness starts to grow, not thinking of your past seeds you chose to sow. It's easy to see who carries the most clout at work, so among them, you do seek a perk. Getting back into normal society means all to you, and you will do what you need to do. Male or female, whichever meets your needs, you get the attention, then you start to plead. Plead for advancement any way you can. If given, you'll be totally in that person's hand. Smiles at work are turned into cunning smirks. For advancement, you give it the works. At work or for drinks after to relax, you search for a weakness or any cracks. You recognize signs of interest in you. You've seen such while being part of the crew. Just bide your time and wait and see which one will take you where you want to be. One night, a guy showed interest in you. In the parking lot, an attractive woman did too. Both co-workers had major clout. Which one had most, you surely intended to find out. It's a line that you intend to walk. Once ready to deliver your pitch, you can't balk. The one that's most helpful, there can be no doubt. To them, you must be a standout. A standout sexually in a competent way is just part of your planned arsenal array. Your days with the crew taught you well. Male or female shall be under your spell. It's not about love, but getting what you want. What is a little tease or a little taunt? Once your quarry is down by skillful plans, then you can show your truthful hands. The truth of what you expect in return for satisfying the fire within them that does burn. Youthful beauty may have moved along, but the mature grace and looks are so strong. Activity with the crew taught you to please both. Male or female, neither do you loathe. For your intended endeavor, you're prepared, no part of your mate to be spared. You're the essence of all work or leisure, advertising competency or giving pleasure. If anyone is taking your bait, it's hard to tell. Just keep hoping things are going to go well. At work, you're serious, but always a coy smile. At play, you're approachable all the while. Those that can help the most, you now know. Now they can lead where you want to go. The female from the parking lot makes her move, and the male lays down his groove. Not wanting either to come out of joint, so you plan to play both at this point. The female a little younger than you, she'll eat from your hand when you are through. You and the male are about the same age. You'll have him trained like a bird in a cage. Careful not to raise the ire of either. To one be a sure thing, and to the other a bit of a teaser. Intimacy at work with the utmost discretion. Any involved must practice pure deception. Should one find about the other, being tarred and feathered would be your druther. To get where you want to go at your pace, there is no alternate route to embrace. Accepting an offer from the girl for a girl's night out made to you, and suspect the girls will be only two. Can't refuse. This is what you hoped for. She opened it, and now you walk through the door. You want to see what she knows, so with a smile and a wink, the deal is clearly closed. She says the night out will be from Friday to whenever. Now, seeing she is quite clever. The night out is in a cabin in the state park. You'll bring fireworks if she brings a spark. Its atmosphere is very conducive for making her goal so much more conclusive. She wasn't hesitant about advances, but her techniques could use a few enhances. Not nearly as experienced as you, but she would love this night when you were through. Back at work that Monday morning, the male friend fired a shot without any warning. He asked if you'd like to go fishing next weekend. He'd teach you if you've never been. No way to tease out of this, so you nodded your head and blew him a very long kiss. You knew fishing was not what it was about, and with the air kiss you left no doubt. At the same time, the female sought more presence, but you encouraged her patience. Otherwise, you couldn't keep both on a string and achieve what good the two can bring. At work, the male's touch was personal. You encouraged him to keep it at a minimal. He could risk ruining a well-balanced act. You need them both for now, and that's a fact. Which will give you what you want done, Finding out which it will be quite a lot of fun. Until then, you'll keep both in focus, and you remain as welcome as a spring crocus. Through the week, as you charm each, teasing, saying, you have a lot to teach. He says that the two of you will leave after work. Can't wait, you replied with a smirk. Wine in a glass and beer in a can. The second time you had alcohol, not in the plan. Alcohol and drugs took you low before. Now you prayed that you didn't open the door. For now, alcohol seemed to make you more effective and thoughts more collective. The weekend couldn't have gone better. You felt that he was now your pleasure debtor. Your mate asked about the weekend seminars, but to get to the truth, he would need radar. You gave him a story of a boring nature, very far from the activity's true nomenclature. He seemed to swallow the whole bit without question, showing no signs of any indigestion. Two at work and your mate are well in hand. Everything seems to be going as planned. Needing a little downtime for yourself, you stop at a bar and eye a bottle on the shelf. One alcohol drink and you're out, with some shame and now full of rehabilitation doubt. You are determined not to do it again. Alcohol and drugs were never your true friend. Cross the street and over the corner look, and on that issue you're closing the book. All of that life you've left behind. To be successful, you must have a clear mind. A little alcohol during the weekend's fling only enhances pleasure that it brings. Other than alcohol is out. If left unrestricted, it will certainly alter a desired route. So far, no drugs have been involved. Therefore, an error not needing resolved. The weeks pass and all is going well, and promotion is yours as far as you can tell. Burning the candle at both ends, not very easy, but it will have many profitable trends. Please a woman one day and a man the other. Your pleasure zone you may smother. There's little time left for your mate. What time he does get, he thinks is truly first rate. Everyone is content at this moment in time, as you continue a success-filled climb. Another weekend, another seminar. Getting home this time, your mate smells like a bar. A stale smell of alcohol fills your bedroom. You're now covered with a shade of gloom. It looks like your mate has upped the ante. On the floor, there's a pair of women's panties. When confronted, nothing is denied, and it wasn't him, but you were the one that cried. Words and anger flew from your lips, looking truly indignant with the hands on both hips. He apologized for the place smelling like a bar. While you were gone, he held the seminar. He acknowledged that he was just your tool, but being kind is not being a willing fool. Spit in his face and then smacked. In the other room, his bags were already packed. Bags in his hand, he went to the door, saying he thought you were no longer a whore. The words cut deep and wide. When all was said and done, from him you didn't hide. Somewhat crushed, a little or a lot, you pushed your mate into giving as good as he got. Days passed, he refused to take any of your calls. A relationship that's cut always falls. Cut beyond any known earthly repair. You shot it down when you tossed it into the air. It was tossed away for greed of success. Relationship lovers lose them the best. He wasn't very exciting, but he was always there. No mental giant, but he always did share. Losing him was always a possibility in your climb. He was just there to fill your extra time. If he meant so little, why all the pain? Did he bring back reality for you being so vain? Are you angry because he was immune to your lies or didn't fall for your cries? Cries of betrayal from a betrayer, like a dragon hears before eating a would-be slayer. The choice was yours, now live with results. Both made choices by both adults. It seemed that you would have dropped him, but your vanity tree he managed to trim. Thinking of him brings a little smile, because that quiet guy went out in his own style. You can't lose focus of your plan, for it was the cause of you losing a good man. A good man that you were willing to lose when your success plan you did choose. No time for tears of sentimental regret. You chose a game, now you'll back your bet. The complications are less. It was 3, now it's only 2 that you must carefully caress. You asked both never to phone. Because of your mate, you may not be home alone. The deception allows a safe place to be alone and continue to plan your chase. Both have sampled your wares and both seem ready to express their influence cares. The 2 are educated and fun. You're not sure if you're willing to give up either one. It's said in your mind, but not with your voice. Keeping both is your intended choice. Having 2 sponsors, so much better than one. Giving any competition a very vigorous run. Other candidates for their supervisory position offer you not a bit of real competition. Your backers is all the district manager will need for your success hopes to proceed. Confident in your ability to manage staff, administration hears praises on your behalf. You happen to be a standout in your new position, but always subject to their condition. The condition that you be available to the 2, otherwise they may sabotage you. One doesn't know of the other's hold on you. You're loyal to each in their point of view. Both know that they speak highly of you. Neither has the idea that you're doing the 2. It wouldn't be good for one to know of the other. You'd surely lose your loyalty cover. To be at the anger of both would be a nightmare. You doubt either is willing to share. You would no longer be a human hinge, and the 2 of them would seek revenge. Such happenings you've been spared, but there's nothing wrong with being prepared. What would be your recourse should they turn? It may be their fires that you see burn. Sexual harassment and fraternization, accusations that really scare any organization. The 2 could be guilty of both. Such behavior, society and administrations tend to loathe. Put in that position, you can hold your own, and you'll respond like a dog with a bone. But for now, things are just fine. Thoughts say that you can look after their pleasure and I mine. The pleasures are found in you, and yours are found in what they can produce or do. The 2 continue to relish what you bring, at work or the personal pleasure ring. For now, you are just where you want to be. There's nothing breaking as far as you can see. Sharing yourself with 2 becomes a little routine. Both satisfied and yourself you preen. They find you're competent at work and at play. You feel you can lead them in any way. Your influence on both grows stronger. If you need anything, no need to wait any longer. They're like sheep waiting to be shorn. From your web of pleasure, they refuse to be torn. Your 2 friends made your day merry. Overheard the CEO needs a personal secretary. Alone you tell each that you're qualified, and about your competence you've never lied. They both react with shock and pause. It makes you wonder just what is the cause. They never hesitated in backing you. Did you bite off more than they will let you chew? The male said that he's backing your female lover, and if he needs a favor, she'll cover. He said that she has backed him in the past, and it's what has made their friendship last. He says that they have gotten this far by being friends. Not backing her means it ends. He says there's nothing he can do, and you'll wait until something comes down for you. She tells you that the position is hers, and then resentment for her within you stirs. She says the male friend has always been at her side, and his support he will provide, saying the two of them are a team, and they are much closer than it really does seem. She says, be patient and wait your turn, for this is the position she did toil and earn. You find it unacceptable to not have your way. Now you're angry and they will pay. Just when and how at this point is unknown, and they'll feel the bitter seeds they have sown. Feeling they owe more than they've shown, so you'll leave them in the wind to be blown. You'll step over their remains while still within the corporation, make even more gains. You confide in a friend about the female boss. Shed a few tears in your hair you toss. Arrange for a friend to see you to embracing. Now you have a witness by placing. Then you feign resistance to the act, so the outsider can say what she saw was a fact. A trap was set and the bet taken. If they thought you tossed aside, they were mistaken. You began offering intimate touches, designed to get his rear end into your clutches. Just to be seen by one co-worker is enough to gain a fraternizing issue in the rough. Your plans well managed well, and a prudish co-worker would be anxious to tell. The bait was taken and swallowed. All denials would be seen as plain hollowed. Go on with activities as usual. Calm personality, lots of smiles, and nothing unusual. At work and play, you give your best, so they'll see what's missing if they fail your test. A test of giving what you think is due, and the consequences for not thinking it through. Feeling that such a choice is fair to you, as fair as you doing what they like for you to do. When do you play your card? When playing, you could be left very marred or unscarred. With all these things in mind, you continue to go on with your pleasure-giving grind. Not so much pleasure, but calculating an attack. Once started, there's no turning back. They were tools, never friends. To get what you want, this is where a relationship ends. Let time go past with them enjoying your pleasures, hoping they'll accept the measures. Accept your terms that you feel due, not showing what refusal would put them through. Your work competency has no equal, and your efficiency, there can be no true sequel. You'll put the ball squarely in their court for them giving you their wholehearted support. When it's time, they had better not tarry, for you expect to be the CEO's new secretary. A delay by them could end their career when you're in the driver's seat and you steer. Feeling a sense of urgency, you would plan the next step, willing to destroy while calmness kept. Which one to approach first is your concern. Who may give in or who may be stern. Post-pleasuring her, you tell her to decide, and tell her of the fate if she does not abide. Suddenly she draws back a clenched fist, and you calmly grab hold of her small wrist. You can feel the trembling in her arm, and simply glare and show no sign of alarm. With squinting eyes and teeth, she bears and looks at you, saying, I'm not close to through. It was unsettling, but did hold your own. Unsettling is fighting, and fighting all alone. You didn't expect her rage to reach that peak. You did not expect her response to be meek. You expected him to stand his ground, and you hoped threats would bring him around. No time like now to face him, and you're sure she's carried the message so grim. Meeting in the parking lot, you meet his stare and vulgar words flying through the air. You tell him that's the way it is, or his butt will fry, and the relationship is not alive. He clenches his fist and shakes from head to toe. You think now is the time to go. You give them 1 day to give in, or you'll expose all to culprit that happened within. The two asked if the three of you could reach a compromise. Just to listen could be wise. They said if you give them this, an inseparable team of three will be born and exist. Any desired opening will be yours if you do, after allowing her dream to come true. Such an offer was quite tempting, but if they lied, you could still be quite exempting. Their way there could be truths or less, and store in the closet all the ugly rest. It could take a team of three this far, but with three driving, who's steering the car? Who'll have the final say in any decision? It may leave too many possible divisions. In a conflict, certainly they'll side against you, and again doing what they want you to do. Asking to meet with them again, now wanting to make the decision clear and quite plain. You tell them that you want it now, no deals, you want it now, and you don't care how. Refusing to give any ground, you're sure that they know there'll be no playing around. You warn them of what could come, and they see you now as just pure scum. Individually and together, they ask you to reconsider. You listen, but they sound bitter. Your card played, you knew there could be no going back. Now see how the cards will stack. Both decide to call your hand, not sure just how firm the ground is on where you stand. They have dared you to play it through. Now come see who comes out black and blue. In your most tearful appearance, human resources are where you played incoherence, feigning a desire not to report the two managers that made you their personal sport, with tears flowing and explaining what you went through and how it has affected you. You say that you feel violated in every way and have witnesses to back what you say. HR is aware that you'll seek legal means and take no part in any company schemes. Director of HR promises a full investigation and the issue solved without hesitation, promising the CEO will be made aware and any misconduct will be brought to bear. Promise also proper compensation for any suffering any such humiliation. Three of you sit before the CEO and HR, the sadness showing your emotional scar. The two you set up are terminated, and you expect to be well compensated. The CEO offers you a job you may like, causing your interest to truly spike. The offer is the Sunday's cherry. He asks if you'd like to be his personal secretary. You're about to have life just your way. Plans worked well, now you can relish the day. The cost was a mate and two friends. You must follow the road no matter the bends. The bends in the road were many, and life changes for all involved amounted to plenty. The chapter of your life is done, and as for regrets in your tactics, you really have none. You have the success you praised and accepted the lives you lowered and none raised. This is where you truly wanted to be. When it's all said and done, there was no major fee. No fee that you physically incurred, and your race to the top was simply undeterred. Though you have no friends or one to go home to, you did do what was right for you. People at work won't give you the time of day. They've heard of how you work and play. Alone after work every day, you feel a couple of drinks will put loneliness at bay. Drinking alone has never been fun for you, so you take a drive to find something to do. You drove past where you met the crew and pulled into one called the Blue Zoo. Inside, you still managed to draw attention and offered drinks too many to even mention. A stranger smiles and you smile back, just to let him know that he can take a crack. A crack at getting to know you well, and a chance for his personality to sell. Your test he passes with ease, and he ends the night with, "May I see you again, please?" The two of you meet for drinks again, give short life stories with the favorable bend. Each bending story to meet the other's approval, using discriminatory removal, removing unflattering parts, and leaving room for each of you to have a clean start. You like him and he seems to like you, and leaving room for whatever you wish to do. He says that he does gamble on just about anything, except giving a girl a wedding ring. You're not looking for a lifetime mate. You feel that others just plain overrate. Now you have someone to fill the lonely hours, and the attention comes in showers. Maybe this will make you feel complete in all the lonely hours you did truly defeat. As a gambler, he does seem to do quite well, never too long of a dry losing spell. He seems to win more than he loses, and each day is the bet that he chooses. Horses, lotto, and poker. His daily gambling is the furnace, and he is the stoker. He gave you a few tips that pay off well, but can't continue this way. Only time will tell. Getting comfortable in your stolen position, and there's a new man of your own addition. Things could not be better, you think, but you know things can change in an eye's blink. Your new pay scale seems to be all you need. Desiring any more would just be greed. Some gambling here and there and a few drinks. There, no signs of showing being worse for wear. As a secretary of an important man, you are privileged to each work and social plan. Day in and day out, you prove loyal. He watches your behavior like a snake ready to coil. You won't gain in it on your own volition. He remembers how you got your position. You can be patient if it fits your needs, and you need him to forego any possible heed. Gaining his trust is how you gain any perks. Just be confident and forego any quirks. Confidentiality is a must in your position, and at times expect his occasional inquisition. Until he's satisfied with your dedication, you must prove you're without complication. No one in his realm has more access than you, and all you do must prove to be true. To him, you're a part of a corporation machine. No other interests you that you've seen. His orders are short and to the point always, expecting a job well done on all work days. Shows no sign of interest in your time, and work discussion of work he'll see as a crime. You're obedient in every measure he lets. To lose his trust would mean call off all bets. Many in his circle of friends give you the eye. You don't want to appear naive, just shy. Shy is the way you want to keep it, because aggression in your position will just not fit. You must remember your job description. Anything else would be a total contradiction. If they are interested in you, let them move first. If they want to play, you have the thirst. The facilities associates recognize your position, and all requests need your permission. You handle the mundane facets each day, and sending only urgent matters his way. You know where your authority stops, and where his starts, all know no one else tops. You look forward to his daily briefing, and you show the confidentiality he's seeking. There is one area that he keeps hidden, and any questions are asked are totally forbidden. Each first and third Monday he can't be found, and none of his friends come around. Each month he wires money to who's known only to him, just before he goes to the gym. The only routine task you're not assigned to you, but it makes you wonder, but that's all you do. The new man in your life is very exciting, and the thrills can be simply nail-biting. thrills of gambling and watching and waiting. So gambling is temptation's own baiting. You watch his success and ignore his losing. Observations are of your own choosing. There's probably one thing you fail to see, and his losses could present a costly fee. You find time in the day to join him at the track, and often trying to win your losses back. You don't hesitate to sponsor him in a poker game. Not all the money is all the same. He gambles with yours and his often. The blows don't seem to soften. A run of luck does happen now and then. With two gambling, who knows where or when. You move in together to have more ready cash, but decisions are becoming more rash. You work and he gambles. Too late to notice your life is starting to look in shambles. When you think you can't take any more, he comes in with a very huge gambling score. Instead of you two putting money in stash, you two celebrate with a huge wild bash. Money to burn for a short period of time, then back to needing more and an uphill climb. He treats you well, and you like how it feels. The attention keeps you back on your heels. When you two are together, over you he does fawn. One day you find your savings gone. The same day you're behind in the rent, and gambling is where all the money went. It really doesn't take a whiz to realize that he's gambling your money and his. You're making good money at your job, but he's eating it up like corn on the cob. The big scores are further and farther in between, but he's not as attractive as once seen. Just when you're ready to put him down, his last score could move you both uptown. The gambling roller coaster is truly unnerving, but the thrills make it so much worth observing. Feeling so low during his losing streak, but at the top of the world during winning's peak. A realization that comes to you. You are an addict like he is, but yours is just kind of new. Financially, you stay in a hole, and you've done everything to raise cash, but you never stole. You lose concentration at your job. It's like you're focusing there someone did rob. It's hard to focus at work with unpaid bills overdue and wondering just what you can do. He's undependable. He may or not have funds. He mostly offers losing reruns. You're sure that your future can't be tied to him. Both gambling wins and success are slim. At work one day, with so much on your mind, an open checkbook lets you make a find. The boss away and you take a glance. Money wiring receipts you see by chance. You see the name, but it's not familiar to you. But a little research reveals exactly who. Researching his bi-monthly travel plan reveals where his jet on those days land. Calling if it's to make an impromptu reservations, you find out who is at his destinations. A lot of information for one that was just curious. If he ever found out, he'd be furious. Furious would be just a mild word. You're fired would be the final words heard. Now you know where he and his money goes. It's only info, not for stepping on toes. Laughingly, and you tell your mate what you know. And in a monkey wrench he did throw. He infers that the info is a gold mine and says it's the mother lode and all can be fine. A question terrifies you, but you ask anyway. Extortion is the word he sends your way. A question of why a gold mine you shouldn't have asked. His answer was an ugly mask. You brought the conversation to an abrupt end. His idea you would never ever defend. Neither of you ever discussed up to this time anything resembling a real-life crime. It frightened you because it was said with ease. You ended it with an angry, please. You are sure that he is no good for you. Your next word should have been, we're through. We're through, he didn't hear it all. Saying nothing and going to bed was your call. In bed you couldn't fall asleep, wondering how a conversation could make such a leap. What kind of person was he truly inside? And what else about him did he truly hide? You didn't see that side of him coming through, or maybe it was just plain overdue. You get ready for work and then heave for the track. You truly wish time would turn back. Back to when you saw him that first day, and now you wish you had turned and walked away. With him in your life, it's been peaks and valleys. Any more valleys and you'll live in alleys. He gave your life a downhill slide and with smiles. Smiles smothered while real loss piles. At work, your hair and clothes aren't as neat. Near tardiness, you often begin to repeat. Losing weight and not using makeup well. Now your downward slide is easy to tell. No sign of getting caught up on bills and rent. Then you knew what depression meant. The loss of everything is in the air, and again you begin to know the meaning of despair. What is left for you to do? Functioning at this level, your job will soon be through. Letting this man bring all dreams to an end because of loneliness and wanting a friend. You don't want to answer the phone or the door. Your life and home you angrily deplore. Your life's a wreck and your home a mess. Could death or homeless give you a true rest? You find yourself in the blue zoo tossing back. The habit is found, your armor's cracked. You're not feeling the anxiety too much now, looking for the moment, kind of lowbrow. Longing to see the crew, they could actually fix whatever is unbearable for you. Your life with the crew was put on the shelf, but you can fix everything all by yourself. The thought that your man put in your head may just fix a life that has been shred. The anxiety pushed aside by alcohol makes a little clearer the opportunity he saw. No need to engage his thoughts or view. What you get will be that much more for you. You have no experience in doing such a thing, but feel it's worth by the relief it'll bring. Your alcohol-soaked brain lays a plan, how you can extort a fortune from a man. The CEO is just a man no matter what. Just like any dog absent a pedigree is a mutt. With the crew you can handle all sorts of men. Like any rooster, they'll only strut for the hen. Things are simple when blended with alcohol. Your every idea is the most perfect call. Up for work, he's still in bed, while someone's throwing rocks inside your head. It reminds you of your intake the night before, with alcohol and morning breath galore. Just alcohol, residuals, effects left behind for the plan you'd have to be out of your mind. Without alcohol, your thoughts are more reserved. To carry this out, you need more nerve. Pills will be less detectable than booze. An anti-anxiety drug is what you choose. It helps you in those days before, but this time you hope that brings much more. The plan is not so terrifying with the drug-laced brain. Believing the plan is actually sane. The mirror says just what else you must do, and that makes a much better looking you. A trip to the beauty salon is just the start. Appropriate clothing makes up the second part. Your finances are in dire straits, and change your mind would mean changing fates. The words of the plan are in your head. You fear it's your life that's hanging by a thread. It's now very late on Sunday, and your plan starts the next morning on Monday. At work, you rehearse your plan in your head. Seeing him for real causes some dread. At this moment, the plan is a go. What comes from now on may be easy or a killing blow. Killing adds to your present life. A blow is dealing with unemployment or homeless strife. Whatever the outcome, this is your plan. It's great funds or just an empty can. Your initial approach is a casual one, by asking to meet with him when the day is done. The rest of the day is one of anxiety, and more pills means it won't be one of sobriety. The pills and info is the total of your war chest, but he may be one that tops your best. End of the day is here and he calls you in. And facing the moment, your head does spin. Facing him in the room, you feel very weak. When your first words come, it's a squeak. Clearing your throat, you try again, but shaky words is all your breathless lungs send. Rearranging your position in the chair, you take a deep breath and preen your hair, giving you a confused and frowning look. With your legs crossed, your thigh muscles shook. With a confident voice, as much as able, you lay your info and demands on the table. He looks coldly into your darting, nervous eyes and says that he's not at all surprised. He says, I knew someone checked on me, but I didn't know who, and I'm sorry it was you. Wondering why sorry for me if I hold the cards, and your advantage he disregards. He tells you to use the info if you wish, but remember you're a guppy and he's a big fish. Showing resolve, you put your fists on the table, trying not to appear too the least unstable. The new threat is added like the evening news, but all he says is do as you choose. He says you won't hurt him in any way, but soon you'll regret your actions this day. His behavior is a mystery, and you gather all your belongings in case this job is history. His final words left you troubled in mind. You expect consequences, but just what kind? You're glad that the day came to an end. What's done there is no way to possibly mend. No word on your position at work, and a sense of impending doom in your heart does lurk. The next day you're told he's out of town, so you must cover his daily banking round. Leaving the bank in a hard rain, something stops you in your tracks like hitting a train. Your world grows dark and quiet, existing in a totally free human sensory stimulating diet. Your mind wanders aimlessly in zero, and your mind calls out for any rescuing hero. In your mind, you are crying but shed no tears. Nothing is near, but you feel fears. You have no sensation, but the darkness is cold, and the darkness continues to unfold. Can't see it, but it gets bigger than time, not knowing where you are, but want to climb. The darkness is loud without any sound, unable to climb because where is up or down. No way to tell if you're moving or still, and there's no temperature but a constant chill. Its origin unknown, but there's a dark stench, joined by a mental thirst you can't quench. Darkness hurting you, but you don't feel a thing. Mental eyes open, but seeing not anything. The taste of true fears runs through your mind, but there is no relief that you can find. A hunger and thirst exist here, but there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere near. Cold and dark exist all around. There is no warmth or light anywhere to be found. Pain and fear is everywhere. It seems that this is what the darkness chooses to bear. Loneliness is all the darkness has shown. You wish at least to bow before the throne. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do, except be where the darkness has put you. There's absolutely no sound to be heard. It would be pleasant to hear a singing bird. You can't find anything to touch or anything sound. A total loneliness you are bound. All your thoughts scream out for any reply, and darkness just sends more darkness by. Here nothing matters, for here is just here, just as the darkness piles fear upon fear. The fear unseen and unheard cover you like a big dress. It is just an unseen, ugly mess. You wonder how you gauge the workings of the dark. There's no light, not even a spark. You have no vision, and it gives no scent. I guess that explains the other 99%. No internal organ awareness, but you feel sick, moving through you just like an oil slick. No muscle mass awareness, but you feel weak and feel that it hasn't reached its peak, and that you are now suffering and nothing in this awful darkness offers any buffering. Your mind searches desperately for its outside, but all you can do is be and so abide. All that is left in you is total despair and feeling that this darkness has no care. There's nothing to tell you where you are. You can't even detect a deeply desired jar. Your thoughts cry with constant sadness, and for being here cries constant madness. In resignation, asking how can this be, a voice said, because you are away from me. Asking, what is this place and where you are? It's where you chose, and from me you are far. You want to know what is this place and what toward? The reply was, your just reward. You cried that is no reward to rejoice, and the voice said, this was your very own choice. A reward where nothing is good? Yes, said the voice, I know that you well understood. My senses don't work as before, the voice said. That was before one closed your door. What door and where am I? The voice replied, you're away from me and now you die. What do you mean I now die? Is it by you? Now you sleep, but your death is now come due. Is this some kind of dream? The voice replies, everything is just and just as it seems. Wanting to know why you are here, a voice said that your choices led you to this fear. Is there any way that I can leave this place? A voice said, this is your own space. You ask how long will you be here? The voice said, your place now is with fear. Silently you ask to go home. The voice said, this is home to a soul that does roam. Asking if you're dead, for you have no breath. The voice said, you're here for a final death. When did it first happen to be? The voice said, when you chose temptation over me. You asked the voice the way of death or how. The voice said, it doesn't matter now. Wondering to yourself if this is hell, the voice says, yes, as far as you're able to tell. I don't know what to say, the voice says. It doesn't matter, it's your judgment day. I can say that I was at least good. The voice said, did you die in my grace as you could? I worked so hard in life, can't you see? I see all, but did you work for temptation or me? I never killed in this life, isn't that true? Seeds sown unattended, you know not how they died or grew. Age of accountability and peak of understanding reach, neither did you teach. Once your mother's prayers saved you from the end by praying to you, your only true friend. Her prayers brought you back home, but you followed temptation to greed and to roam. Her prayers heard at your moment of death, but your temple won't feel another breath. You knew the joy of the Annunciation, the joy of humility and faith in the visitation. You knew joys of the Son of the Most High's birth, and you knew his coming's worth. His presentation met with approval, but your presentation, chosen, gets my disapproval. His finding in the temple was doing the Almighty's work, and yours was a heavenly shirk. His agony was pain doing the Father's will. His choice should be our strengthening pill. Some see the Father's will as burden bearing and turn to temptation's instant sharing. Sharing not of a heavenly feeling, but sharing sinful indulgence, leaving others reeling. Is there anyone you put before yourself? was your truth ever taken off the shelf? Being taken from death's door in despair, you could have loved, but you didn't care. You had seen God's love and understanding, but you chose temptation's branding. A loving mate that you used like a tool, and in his place put a reckless gambling ghoul. The child that you used to kiss goodnight, when did you last have it in your sight? Saying good things won't make them so. Truth and deeds is what makes a soul glow. A soul that glows for all heaven to see is the soul that I want to always be near me. Works that result in others asking heaven to bless are works that I see above the rest. These things you knew of heaven's will, but you chose the ways of temptation still. Innocent scourged and bruised for our sins, so that the path to heaven then begins. A love so great that he is willing to carry weight for forgiveness of in any state. The weight of all sins since the garden, his stripes are our path to the Father's garden. All worthy souls in the world and in hell were offered a drink from his life-giving well. Put on his head a mocking crown of thorn, on the true king they mockingly adorn. Without shame they mocked the Son of Man, the one where all judgment will stand. When his authority is mocked, we strike God, a temptation that is very odd. Temptation is absent on Judgment Day, where all stand before the only way. Worldly pain and mocking is our cross to bear, in our goal of living in heaven's care. Temptation leaves followers sprawled, and in the book of life the name is not called. After your tour of despair, did you resist temptation or flounder in indulgence elation? Among others, did you build any trust, or was your virtuous nature on the shelf to rust? All we must do here to get there is to recognize his will and conditionally given care. A condition of reaching heaven through the Son, the way that everything else is done. A death on the cross set his life's pace, so in the end we could die in God's grace. A true grace that we must work toward before even hoping for a final glorious reward. Glory is seen in his promise kept after rising from the cross's death where mother wept. Glory were the 40 days that he walked the land, showing he was more than a man. No miracle but a heavenly truth so pure, displaying a sinful world's one and only cure. A man he faced all we do, and as a man showed us what temptation is due. Rejoice as he ascends to what must be done. Prepare a place and be justice won. What you live in this world will be on your head, judged for eternal life or eternal dead. In his Father's house there is room for all, but many will be sent to answer hell's call. Seeking the approval of worldly ways is looking for heaven through a worldly haze. A comforter sent by the Son of Man, allowing his truth to thrive as only his truth can. Temptation can appear as many look alike, but temptation's truth can always strike. The gifts of the Spirit can reveal all temptation and saving any from its total damnation. The Spirit is in all, but all do not heed, and falling sadly for temptation's soul-losing greed. Ark of the Covenant knew no sin, and knew the glory of her only delivered kin. At the foot of the cross she shed tears, and sheds more for all after so many years. Sadness felt for the sorrow's many cause, ignoring the kingdom without any pause. Did you thank her for her prayers each day? Did you ask for her to pray for a better way? As the mother of the Most High, she sees her children's behavior and goes on to cry. At the cross, the Son made her mother to all, and as our mother, we need hear her call, a call to the ways of her Son, he who determines what is justice and what will be done. At the moment of death, she does pray that in this life journeys we find the only way. All you have lived and all you have said, do you see why final death has come to you? Like any father, it saddens me to turn a child away, but you chose temptation's way. You knew of the kingdom but pushed it aside. You desired speed of temptation's ride. You knew the honor and you knew of the love, but traded it for temptation's secretive glove. A secretive glove that never shows a true hand. When extended, it hides a deceitful brand. Rarely were you what you should have been. In the end, you chose temptation as a friend. Therefore, here is where you chose, and this is where our words must close. You never knew sincerity, so now what must be will be, and you will never be near me. Issues defining where one's life ends is led by issues one's role with temptation lends. It will offer many alternates to the Son of Man. It lends security as a member of a clan. In a journey to heaven, it alters one's place and lends security as one of a superior race. Temptation's path is easy to see. It lends itself to believe that others are less than thee. Where one prays is in temptation's plan, often modeling alternates to the Son of Man. The Son of Man is the enemy of world, a world modeling stones in disguise to hurl. It'll sway some Christians' thoughts and focus on the heart and model targets for its darts. Temptation's attackers are the legions, and it will model its attackers to all earthly regions. Where God's word is spoken or heard, temptation efforts go to making it all blurred. Some Christians have their own church, blurred views so he's not seen on the perch. Divide is temptation's plan, breaking from the true and blurred all who is in command. The heart of Christianity is knife's seek, so blurred is the one with the knife that creeps. Is temptation so loving that it'll deceive, or does it bend us so we true love won't receive? Practice prejudice and still love as we must, or is it temptation's bend saying it is just? At the moment of death, we get what is due. Can temptation bend that too? All worldly issues have a flavor, so don't bend to temptation and do yourself a favor. Temptation's goal is for us to die without God's grace and join it in the sadder place. A sadder place is making of our own hell haze and have no way to join in heavenly praise. Sadness, fear, and nowhere to pray, and join those that claim to have had a better way. Alternative Christianities that gambled on a losing bet, then join the light in eternal regret. What we do and say here is good only if we can say it is good on our judgment day. Choose to please the world and not the Son is good for choosing an eternal life shun. To excuse ourselves for the use of temptation is good for a heavenly elimination. Making a choice to sound, this world is good for a proving or a disapproving ground. Some joke about God and his authority. Did temptation make them give up a priority? Love temptation for rewards now is to give up heavenly desires and to temptation bow. Demean God for temptation's sake is to give up a soul that suffers a permanent break. Challenging God to prove temptation's loyalty is to give up ever seeing heaven's royalty.